The dollar is toast. This is very bad news. It really is. And the consequences are that we've got a declining economy, which I think will go into a real slump, a major slump, with interest rates rising at the same time, inflation, which is the misnomer, actually, really what it is collapsing the purchasing power of the dollar, soaring. This is, it's not just a question of stagflation. This is the nastiest combination, really, of an economic and fiat currency collapse. It's the end of the fiat currency era. That's really what we're staring at. And if you look at the US, the expansion of credit has been very much into puffing up financial assets. This is a bubble. Bubbles inevitably burst. And the fallout from that, this time, instead of having a currency actually tied to gold on a gold standard, this time it'll take the currency down with it. Because what is currency? Currency is credit. You can see the mechanics of it. Bond yields will rise. Call it a buyer's strike. That's what we called it in the 70s when we had these conditions. When you get rising bond yields, that drives down all financial assets. You get a real crisis developing. The Fed is now in a position where it's effectively set itself up, not just to be the lender of the last resort, but the rescuer of the whole shooting match. So you can see that contraction in the value, if you like, of credit in the private sector is going to be more than made up by the dilution of the dollar, by government authorities, including the Fed. So this is, it's the end of the fiat currency era. That's actually what we're approaching. And I don't say that lightly, and it shouldn't be taken lightly either. One of the things that's really going to kill the dollar, I think, in 2026 is, the developments we've seen recently with BRICS. It's fascinating. Apparently, Modi in India turned down, he refused to answer the telephone 4 times to President Trump when President Trump realized that he'd made a huge great mistake trying to sanction India for taking in and processing Russian oil. This was the art of the deal. But the art of the deal really depends on your interlocutor actually talking to you. And Modi said, no, forget it. And next week, he was in Beijing, or not, but Tianjin, or whatever it was, the SCO conference, hugging and kissing with Putin and Xi. That said it all. These are the 2 most populous nations, India and China, 2.8 billion people out of a total population on the planet of about 7.5 billion. What we're looking at, you were saying that, sort of BRICS and SCO, we're looking at something like 40%. If you look at GDP in purchasing power parity terms, China is already a good 30% larger than the United States. Taking the whole thing, what we're seeing is China is tying up the majority of the world economy as its own market. It no longer cares about America. It no longer cares about Europe. We can ban them from here to hell and gone. It's not going to change anything. And the one piece in the jigsaw which is yet to really be put in place is the one which we can now see developing, and that is a yuan which doesn't share the fate of the dollar, the euro, sterling, and the yen. The yuan will go on a back. The way it's going, you can see quite clearly that they're modeling a new gold-backed currency based on the way in which Bretton Woods worked. In other words, it won't be for individuals, if you like, to exchange yuan for gold. It'll be at the government level, and it'll be international trade related. Exactly what we had under the Bretton Woods system. This is Bretton Woods Mark II. You can see it. It's there. Now, what does that do to the dollar? It kills it. Because you've got the majority of the world, both in terms of population and GDP, no longer needing the dollar. And so, you've got $40 trillion of financial assets. You have got, according to the Bank of International Settlements, a further 80 trillion tied up, if you like, as part of the foreign exchange markets. On top of that, you've got the euro-dollar market, in other words, offshore dollars, which are a further 10 trillion. So you've got what? About $130 trillion seeking a home. Where does it go? It goes back to America, doesn't it? It gets sold. It's redundant. That's going to collapse the dollar. You collapse the dollar, what do you do to us? You collapse us as well. And the Eurozone, God bless them. And also the yen. I mean, this is the challenge. Dealing with this is the challenge in 2026. And markets are blissfully unaware of it. I mean, we're still, momentum chasing Nvidia and Bitcoin and all the rest of it. I mean, it's crazy. People are asleep. Wake up. Well, I think things happen in phases. I mean, the first thing we're seeing is a decline of the dollar. And that will have the knock-on effect on all the fiat currencies, because really what we're looking at is the end of the fiat currency system. I think, sorry, excuse me. I think that Europe is in great risk of falling apart. The Brussels administration is a joke, and it hasn't really got control over anything. I mean, not democratic control. So long as Brussels exists, it is divisive, I think, between nations rather than cohesive, which it's meant to be. You can already see that there are some factions which look more likely to survive than others. And I would say that Italy, under Meloni's that is a recovering well. And she's also got the common sense to realize that you've got to have people with wealth around you rather than chasing them away. I mean, you get the head of Goldman Sachs Europe moving to Milan, for goodness sake. I mean, that was a huge signal, I think. And also Hungary and some of the Balkans, etc. So I think there's, there is a sort of, if you like, a left-right, a sort of welfare state is history part, and welfare state, we're going to continue on down that road because we're communists after all, like France, Spain now. Germany is difficult. Germany is a mess, a huge, great mess. You've got the politics of, anti-Russian politics and all the rest of it. And I think that's probably going to go to an extent, but I think Europe's sort of dividing into those sort of two camps, and I think it'll just break apart the whole thing. The euro itself is, it's like a camel, put together by a committee. It won't survive. Of that, I'm absolutely sure. Well, yeah, but I mean, on its own, what would happen is that they would restructure it, if you like, to try and keep the thing going together. But I think the thing that will kill it is currency. The currency is, it's a fiat currency. Okay, we know that the central banks, France, Germany, Italy, are three of the biggest holders of gold in central banks. But they haven't got the situation where they could go back onto a gold standard because their deficits, their budget deficits, are absolutely enormous. They're out of control, and there is no political will to control them.